My name is Midyear Mitch, and in this brand new series, we are going to explore the history of an American icon, the Chevrolet Corvette, so be sure to stick around. So I'm excited about this new segment on the Midyear Mitch YouTube channel. We're going to dive into a little bit of Corvette history. We'll get some facts along the way. And so the way this works is I'm going to read the question, give you guys several answers. If you want, you can pause the video, put your answer down in the comments, click play. I'll reveal the answer and we'll get a little history lesson on that topic in particular. This is going to debut every other Tuesday. So without further ado, let's get started with our first question. So today's question is, who is considered the father of the performance Corvette? Harley J. Earl, Ed Cole, Zora Duntov, or Bill Mitchell? Put your comment down below if you know the answer or not. Stay tuned. And the answer is Zora Arkus Duntov. That may be a trick one. The word performance in there was to throw you guys off. As if it just said father of the Corvette, that would be Harley J. Earl. He's the one that kind of conceived the car. He snuck it through under the radar, and he secretly developed this car. But Zora Duntov is the one that saw the car, and he knew that he wanted to take it to that next level. So let's get into how he did that and why he's considered the father of the performance Corvette. So Zora Duntov was born in Russia in 1909. Him and his family moved to Germany. He went and got his engineering degree. Later he moved to America. Him and his brother opened up a factory where they made munitions for the war, and then they ended up making early Ford V8 heads, which was pretty neat. And whenever he was over in Europe, he raced a lot, so he developed a very strong following for his car passion. So he had the engineering skills, and he had the practical application that he could drive a car. He knew how to make it better, so he was very well-rounded. So while in New York in 1953, he went to the Motorama in New York City, and there he first laid his eyes on the Chevrolet Corvette, which is on display for the world to see, which is probably the first time the world actually saw that car. And he described it as one of the most amazing cars he's ever seen. He loved the way it looked. He was floored by it. He got up, looked around the car. He went to look under the hood and saw it had a straight six blue flame, and he was not impressed by that. He loved the rest of the car. That spoke to him enough that he had to write to the president of Chevrolet to tell him that he could make that car better. He knew how to improve it. He said, we can make this car a performance car and make it handle and perform like it looks. So Ed Cole read the letter that Zora wrote, and he was so impressed with it that he had to hire Zora, and he knew of his racing history, so he was a perfect fit at Chevrolet. So Zora was very excited to get in there. Just a couple highlights that he had going on in Chevrolet. In 1957 was whenever the Chevrolet Corvette became the first car to have 1 horsepower per cubic inch of displacement, which today doesn't seem like a whole lot because turbo LSs are making, well over 1,000 horsepower. But back then, with the mechanical fuel injection, some work on the heads, and some other internal changes, he was able to bring that up to 1 horsepower per cubic inch. It was a pretty big accomplishment at that time. So that definitely helped put him on the map, and it started pushing Corvette towards the performance mark. Zora thought like a lot of hot rodders back in the early days, so he knew how to sell cars. He knew if he made the cars faster, he knew if he could prove to the hot rodders that these were performance cars, they would sell more cars. So one way they wanted to market Chevy as a performance brand is they took a prototype 56 Chevy Bel Air, which was a 4-door hardtop. They disguised it with a bunch of, I don't even know if they put fiberglass on. I don't know how they disguised it, but they painted up, disguised it to make it look like a prototype or something funky, and they raced it up Pikes Peak in 1955. And they actually, in their class, they beat the time by over 2 minutes, which was a very big accomplishment. And they brought that up in some other ads, along with the ad in 57, having 1 horsepower per cubic inch. So those were 2 big marks that Chevy crossed to help bring the small block Chevy into hot rods, because before the flathead V8 was the hot rod engine of choice, and then as time went on, the small block Chevy took over. So that was one way Chevy was able to win the hearts over. And Zora wanted to create a program, the RPO program, where you could buy parts over the shelf of GM, better parts, better engines, better suspension parts, but he wanted those parts to become standard on Corvettes. So for the next 20 odd years, Zora pushed the envelope and tried to develop new technology and new systems to better the Corvette and the Chevrolet brand as a whole. He developed a lot of prototypes. He worked on new systems like four-wheel independent suspension, four-wheel disc brakes. He made an all-wheel drive prototype. So he was always pushing the envelope, trying to find new edges, playing with different metals, trying to make things lighter and stronger. So he was always pushing the envelope, trying to make the car better and better and better, which is what brought Corvette to the level that it is today. So there are more details about Zora Duntov. There have been books written about him, articles in magazines. This is just a quick overview to explain, some of the high points for why he's the father of the performance Corvette. Now, if you want to learn more, you can do your own research. This guy is an amazing guy. I think he died in 1994. Or 96, something like that. But he was an amazing guy. He was very excited with the Corvette brand. He was able to see the 1,000,000th Corvette made. He drove it across the assembly line, and he looked really excited about that. So I think he'd be really excited right now to see the mid-engine Corvette is out. It's running around, and his dream finally came true. Just took a few more years than like 64 when he developed the first prototype. So it took some time, but the brand finally got to where he wanted it to. So I think he'd be very proud of where Corvette is today and for the following that it has today also. So that's going to do it for this video. This is a different style video. If you enjoyed, please give it a thumbs up. Also leave a comment down below if you enjoyed it, if you have other ideas to make this segment better, or if you have other ideas for trivia. I have a few more on a list thought up, so I'll be making some more videos on this very shortly, and I'll have other videos. If you don't like this, I have more of my usual content. And for those of you who are new to my YouTube channel, I do a lot of restoration videos on my 63 Corvette. I have a couple other projects going on right now. I have a restoration project for a 63 Corvette birdcage, fixing a lot of rust on it, and like I said, other projects, making a Corvette race car. So I have a lot of other projects. So if you're into that kind of stuff, please be sure to check out the rest of my channel, and I'll catch you guys later.